Let's talk about MMTLP. Lots of stuff out there, lots of stuff today. Um, I guess let's talk about. Somebody asked me in the comments of my last video, what happens if the hedge funds and the SEC make all these synthetic shares disappear prior to this thing squeezing? It's an interesting question. My take on it is they didn't create this thing for no reason. They created it, they made it tradable again so that they could get out of the position that they were in. Um, Somebody was saying today, I watched the clown, Smokey the Clown, and he's like, one person did it, maybe two people did it. John Berta is on record on their own little chat, that the MetaFam chat, as saying two market makers got together and made this thing tradable. There's no, oh, who did it? Two market makers did it. The information in regards to which ones they were, that's the only unknown. But we know it was two market makers. That's right out of the Berta's mouth. I want to say there was some crazy low number when this thing started, like 10 cents. People were tweeting, oh, there's your dividend, 10 cents. Oh, look at how much money it was worth. Which was interesting because why would anybody be tweeting that so early if A, they weren't holding it, or B, they weren't trying to get people to sell it because they were in so much trouble? That's completely and totally plausible. Now, you can go back and add up all the shares that have traded on this thing since it started last October, and it's a shit ton more than what the thesis of naked shorts are. Now, we know there's been a shit ton of buying. I've gotten 5 or 6 people in, and we are not quite to the 6 figures of shares between the 5 of us, but not super far off. Now, let's say it was just half of 6 figures. Let's say I got 5 people in and we were in the range of 50,000. How many other people did that? And how many shares did these brokers sell that didn't exist? These guys don't know the end game to every stock. They took their thesis. They said, we're going to short this thing into the ground. That's what they did. What happens a year or two down the line after a reverse merger? After oil completely, basically triples, since they probably took the short position in it. Obviously, they're going to be in trouble when that's the case. Could they have made some of it disappear? I mean, look, I think there's proof of that on other stocks. I think there's proof of moving shares overseas. Berta mentioned that, going and being told, those short positions were moved offshore. Could that have happened? It's completely and totally possible. Here's what I will say. The rules are not set up for us to win. They're not. Do we win on occasion? Yeah, sure. Newegg went to $79. That was on a squeeze. Every time a stock goes up, this is what I love. Every time a stock goes up, people are like automatically going, whoa, what a short squeeze. It's not always the case. DWAC went up strictly on FOMO, hit what, like $175. So, with that said, DWAC is the perfect example to the question of what do I think is going to happen with MMAT on this particular play. By the way, I'm 1000% bullish on MMAT long term. Okay, I do believe this is going to go up. They're 100% going to dilute. They're going to dilute. We don't know when. Ken Rice said we don't have to dilute this quarter. He didn't say that we're not going to. If let's just use TLP as an example. Let's say TLP runs up to, just hypothetical number of $100. The way it's been playing out, if you watch it, it looks like MMAT is running at basically 1/5 to 1/6 of that price. So at $100 for MMAT, I think you could probably see MMAT somewhere between 16 and 20. These guys saying $7-8. I don't know what they're thinking. Okay, because the high on it basically when it started trading was $8. So once you pass $8, if it breaks $8 and holds, you're looking at a blue sky setup, and there's no telling. FOMO jumps in, big corporations jump in. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I don't think it's as insanely low numbers that I've heard, $7-8. That's insanity. I have a huge position in that, and I lost my ass. Almost lost everything I own falling in love with that position. And I'll get into that, another day. With that said, I think MMAT definitely goes up, but there is no doubt in my mind that it's going to come down. The connection with DWAC, my point was when DWAC ran up, there was a little sympathy play on there, PHUN. PHUN had something to do with Trump media, so every time DWAC goes up, PHUN goes up. And I think that's what you're going to see with TLP going up. I think you're going to see MMAT going up as well. Does it reach the level of TLP? I don't think so, but no one really knows 100%. I think depending on what happens here, there's no number as far as a sale or anything. So I saw that too, and we've gotten that answer. Tony Market Moves talked about it. There's some other stock guys who said, well, Twitter went private and it didn't squeeze. Well, you're 100% right, because Twitter had a set price. There was a set value. Tony's touched on that. Houston Wade's touched on that. I mean, that's self-explanatory. I don't think the 12th is going to be the largest percentage gain. I think these guys are going to do some covering beforehand. Let's say there's 5 hedge funds, right? Again, we're going to go hypothetical here. But let's say you're one of 5 hedge funds and you're short on this thing. And the DTCC comes down and FINRA comes down and says, yeah, listen, you guys got caught on this. You got to cover. Well, if you're short 10 million shares and your fund is the smallest of those 5, there's a really good possibility that you might not be able to afford to close it at insane numbers. So in closing at 9, 10, 11 probably makes more sense. You may not be one of the big boys.